there is no circulating nutrients in your bloodstream. You wake up and you do the cardio. Cardio is activity that uses fatty acids as a fuel. Aerobic activity, that substrate of utilization is fatty acid. Right here is your fat burning phase. Every day you do this, for sure you're going to burn some body fat. If somebody is ripped and you don't need it, you don't need it. So, okay, Ronnie Coleman would do it at night time, and Jay Cutler sometimes did like 3 times a day, right? You can do more fat burning phases if needed, but usually if you do everything right, you don't need it. Okay, so now, this is now catabolism, but catabolism of the fat tissue, which is good. As soon as you finish, let's say 7 a.m., right? Immediately, you have to have a first meal to stop the catabolism. And what you need, quick amino acids, intermediate, long-acting. So insulin can be your best friend or your worst enemy. If you take it when you don't need it, yeah, it can make you fat. So every time when insulin is in the blood, it's not selective. Everything that is there is going to be stored. So bodybuilders, okay, some of us use even injectable insulin, which bring supraphysiological amount, more than your body would ever release. Very strong storage hormone. It's beneficial if only you have a good nutrients. But if you have triglycerides, right, it's gonna store intramuscular triglycerides. A lot of the cell can actually have a triglycerides in it. So a lot of bodybuilders do have a bloated stomachs and stuff. It's from combination of growth hormone, and all that stuff, but also high intramuscular triglyceride content, because if the diet is high fat, and then you trigger, with the injectable or with endogenous insulin. So if I do your diet, for example, here is anabolic phase. Meal before would be protein and carbs, 0 fat. Here you can have your protein and fat, good fats. No? Meal after would be protein and carbs, 0 fat. And later again, you can have your fat. I mean, okay, this is clinical nutrition. De novo lipogenesis, conversion of carbohydrates into fat. It's very inefficient in humans. In the clinical nutrition they teach you, it happens very, very minimal. If you have a carbohydrates and fat simultaneously, you have a glucose and fatty acids. Glucose triggers insulin release, and becomes the primary fuel. And therefore insulin can store fatty acids as a number one preference of the body is energy. If you use carbs and fat, this is then carbs make you fat. If your meal, like every 3 hours, right, it's as many calories as you need, it's probably not going to happen. But for people that eat maybe just 2 meals a day, and then nobody really wants to, okay, just protein, just carbs. When you have a combination, this can happen. So carbs can make you fat. You just change the energy, either carbs or fat. That's the easiest. Every time you do the cardio on empty stomach, fatty acids are being utilized as energy, you're losing body fat. So you lose fat, okay? And in between, you just need to maintain. For me, as we talked about, and we're going to talk more about the supplements, I don't talk directly, but my supplements are all connected to this, as you understand. When I was discussing with Luciano what my line is going to be, my supplements, I said anything that I would recommend to the pro bodybuilders to use, I would have to have in my line. Yeah? The best of what we want to accomplish. Like this, throughout the day, as I was saying, chicken, okay, chicken takes 4 or 5 hours to be digested to get amino acids from the chicken. If it's like beef and egg whites and fish and chicken, a different time of absorption. I give in between essential amino acids. That maintains the influx of amino acids in the bloodstream. You always have essential amino acids needed. I was, 2004, I was in a burn center. Protein is the only building nutrient. Any catabolism accelerates aging. What is the first rule in anti-aging? Maintain the muscle mass. My formula again, I took 8 essential amino acids and histidine in a exact proportion that is in a fast-twitch fiber. So it's more directed exactly for muscle tissue, not for any tissue. Okay, as I told you earlier today, we are not eating protein for the sake of protein. We are eating for content of essential amino acids of that protein. So remember, everything in your body is made out of essential amino acids combined with non-essential to create different tissues. essential you have to take, non-essential body can make. So for me, this is absolutely number one most important product for everybody, for athletes, for bodybuilders, for regular people. As I mentioned earlier, I would do it in between meals. I would use like 5 grams for a woman and 10 grams for men. Yes, if you have a vegetarian friends, for them this is like absolute must. Women, you know, that okay, not necessary into voluminization, they can use only essential amino acid matrix. You know, one of the things that I do, I talked earlier, I add carbohydrates to my during workout. Before, okay, I only use simple dextrose. Dextrose is glucose. Your blood sugar is glucose, right? Before I use Vitargo because science, you know, it looks like it's very good. It's instant gastric empty. So what do you use? You know, you can try. It's osmolality that is different. My product, I have a carbo mix. I'm going to touch it later. It's combination of maltodextrin, amylopectin, dextrose, ribose. There is a combination of it, and I have athletes report much better, you know, control, you know, gastric control than with Vitargo. If you take glucose, any kind, in 3 minutes is in the bloodstream, and in 40 minutes is maximum. So, you know, if you are hypoglycemic, and if anybody has felt hypoglycemia, it's a panic mode. If you take any kind of glucose tablets or drink orange juice, whatever, it takes about 3 minutes to get out. Glucose is dextrose. It's igual. Right. You can take maltodextrin, you can take amylopectin, anything. It doesn't really matter because glucose is what is in the blood, and you're going to get the glucose. Okay, so now, as I said, why do we need this? It's 2 different things. One is, as Raul said, to replenish how much you're going to spend for muscle contraction, but also to release endogenous insulin. So endogenous insulin is going to take anything in the blood into the cells. So yeah, branch chains, we have it with in a capsule form and a tablet form as well. Okay. As I said before, I'm very big on amino acids, much more than proteins. So there is a different formulation. I add lysine to the branch chain aminos, isoleucine, leucine, valine, and lysine. And many companies already have it with glutamine. Now, glutamine is most abundant amino acid in the body. It is not essential, body can produce, but in a stressful conditions like weight training and illnesses, it's no way that body can replenish, you know, that amount. So I would always say that glutamine is conditionally essential for the athletes. If you do not use pre, during, post, you can use essential amino acid matrix, you can use creamino, you can use BCAA with glutamine. Any amino acids for me is you know, the best product you can use. So if you don't use amino acids, use protein. Hydrolyzed protein is next best thing. Okay, hydrolyzed, what does it mean? It's, you know, hydrolyzed, it's broken down. So hydrolyzed whey is very rapid. It's very good, it's high quality. I would use it immediately after the workout. Okay, and you can use it anytime when you need a quick amino acids. So if you didn't eat for a long time, 6, 7, 8 hours, like today, yeah, you should have some immediately, you know. So you can have scoop of whey protein together with you know, your meal. Now, one thing that whoever follows supplement market remembers, about 15 years ago, whey was a boom, and a lot of bodybuilders would take whey, and take a lot of 60, 70, 80, 90 grams per sitting, until they came up with the studies that because it's so rapid, you know, there's so much amino acids, it's hyperaminoacidemia in the blood. A lot of amino acids are converted into glucose. So Dorian Yates approved, you know, they had those studies, you know, the publicized that if you have too much whey at one time, it's converting into the glucose. So it's better to combine it with a slower protein like egg albumin or micellar casein, then take like 3-4 scoops of the whey. Regular whey, you guys know there is, you know, whey concentrate, whey isolate, you know, hydrolyzed, you know, we made this commercial because a lot of people cannot afford. It's whey hydrolyzate is expensive, so we have a formula. There is a combination of isolate, hydrolysate, and concentrate. Okay, this is one thing that I didn't know when I came talk to Luciano, and he says in Vitabest when the standard in the industry is that a lot of whey protein has like almost 50% maltodextrin in it. So I insist that we use only protein, no carbohydrates added to it whatsoever. But industry standard that we take at nighttime or any time when you want to have a super slow release. And I like to do it in a last meal at night or in the middle of the night if you wake up for whatever reason. Yeah, because you have a prolonged influx of amino acids, you have a prolonged anabolic phase. So yeah, I had 6 different proteins, put it together. As you can see, whey isolate, then micellar casein, egg albumin, milk protein concentrates, soy isolate. Roll, it looks like you can eat. For me, the biggest problem in bodybuilding career was force feeding. This is where protein powders and supplements come very handy. Okay, this is product, that I usually don't recommend. But a lot of countries, that's the best-selling product.
Pero en muchos países es el producto más vendido.
Yeah, I mean, I created and it's great nutrients and all that stuff, but I would always say if you just want to increase the caloric intake, just eat some carbohydrates and you're gonna get it, right? A lot of people always think that, yeah, heart gainer, muscle gainer, you need increasing muscle mass, not weight. Calories are easy to get it, right? The nutrients are hard. So for those of you that have this product, I mean, a lot of people like it, they're popular, but this is something that I usually don't recommend myself.